My name is Ashley Linderman, and my project is going to be about the optimization of an NBA team. So, introduction is that I want to create an NBA super team using the players that are playing in the league today, and given certain constraints. So, how do I get a team with the most wins, or how do I quantify that? I'm using win shares, which is a statistic that measures how many wins a player provides their team in a season. So it kind of individualizes each win or each part of a win to each player. And so the sum of the win shares of each player on the team is equal to the team wins in a season. And that was shown to be accurate to about plus or minus 3 games. So that's what I'm going to be using. In my data, I will be taking from NBA 2K to get an overall rating of the player, which is just an overall rating of their skill level. And I will be taking data from Sports Reference, which is a website with a lot of statistics about win shares, and ESPN for salary information. So my objective function is going to be just the sum of the win shares of each player. So I'm trying to maximize the total number of win shares for a 10-person team, and then given constraints that I'll talk about in a minute. But the objective function is just the sum of the win shares for each player. So here are the constraints. The first one is that the average age must be below 28 years old because we want the team to be dominant for a long time. And then each player must have a minimum rating of 75, and that is taken from the NBA 2K data, and this is because we don't want a single player to be weak. And then the third constraint is that the sum of the player's salary must be less than $112.4 million, which is the salary cap. And the final constraint is that there must be at least 2 players from each position because we want a well-balanced team with a diverse range of positions. Okay, so here's my MATLAB code that I used. On this one, I just consolidated all the data into one easy table so that it made the optimization a little bit quicker. And here, I looped through all of the combinations of players. So I went through all the centers, the point guards, the small forwards, the power forwards, and the shooting guards. And I kept track of which combination of players would lead to the highest win shares, subject to the constraints here of the salary and the age. So here are my results. This list of players here in my program resulted in team salary of $89.95 million, which is well under the salary cap, and the team wins is 87.2 with an average age of 24.6. So the team wins doesn't make a ton of sense because there's only 82 games in a season, but you have to keep in mind that when the players would play together, their win shares would go down because they wouldn't have to do as much. And the results make sense because Nikola Jokic, which is the second row of this table, he had the most win shares in the season in the NBA, so it makes sense that he is in there with 15.2. And the rest of the players are players that play above how much they are playing. So they generate a lot of win shares, but are not paid that much money. So it makes sense, and thank you for listening.